After months, One Piece is back and brutally. As the Straw Hats head to Elbaf, someone challenged a Yonko's name and Shanks won't let it slide. Loyalties are tested and a mysterious disappearance changes everything. Stay until the end. No one was ready. The episode begins with Luffy and Usopp in the past, talking about how one day they would go to Elbaf, and in the present, that day has finally arrived. After leaving Egghead, the banquet continued on the way to Elbaf. Kashi tells Luffy that after their farewell in Water 7, he and Oimo went to see their bosses in Little Garden after more than 100 years. Oimo explains that they were still fighting, just without weapons. Luffy asks why, since they had weapons, but it turns out they broke after a certain incident. Still, obviously those two brutes weren't gonna die throwing punches, and Usopp gets excited, remembering that every punch in that battle was basically a deadly blow. Dory says that in the end, Oimo and Keshi convinced them to stop fighting and return to Elbaf to get more weapons. Nami asks if they plan to continue the duel, and they answer that of course they do. She doesn't even know what to say, which leaves Usopp furious at her disrespect toward the giants. 2 years ago in Little Garden, he told Nami that it's as if each of them carries a warrior's flag raised in their heart, and it's to protect that flag that they've been dueling for a century. That's what he wants to become, a brave warrior of the sea. And now they're heading to Elbaf. Nami ignores everything he said and just asks for more drinks. Meanwhile, Zoro is getting completely wasted while thinking about training with giants, and Sanji says it's sad how some people only think about fighting when there must be plenty of beautiful giant women there. Frankie is eating something so rotten smelling it even bothers Zoro. He says it's hakro, which is basically fermented shark. Still, he says it goes well with beer and soda. Sanji is drinking something extremely strong, and a giant tells him it's absinthe, a real drink with very high alcohol content. Chopper thinks it looks pretty and decides to try some, which is a terrible idea. When someone asks if he's okay, he's already completely drunk, telling everyone not to drink too much. Luffy then calls Brook and asks him to sing something. Hearing that, Brook puts on his glasses and starts singing a song about the man who will become king. Meanwhile, over a month ago, on Gartel Island in the New World, Bartolomeo defeated a local thug and tried to sell Straw Hat merchandise, but people mocked him since that island was under Shanks' territory. Bartolomeo didn't care and burned Shanks' flag, declaring that Luffy is the one destined to lead the new era. It didn't take long until in the present, Shanks' crew captured him. They say that if they let this slide, his flag will lose credibility on other islands. Bartolomeo sincerely apologizes, saying he acted out of ignorance and stupidity, then asks how he can make up for it. They say they'll give him a chance, but only if, within a month, he makes Luffy drink a deadly poison that causes intense agony, making blood burst from the pores before killing the victim. Hearing this, Bartolomeo puts the poison in his own mouth and drinks it himself, saying it's fine because they pledged loyalty to Luffy and raised his flag without permission, so it has nothing to do with him. He doesn't want Luffy to even know, so he won't waste time on someone like him. He says he wanted to see Luffy become king of the pirates, but failed for being an idiot. He says goodbye to his friends and then just lets out a burp and is set free by Shanks. He says he expected a ruthless man, but Shanks is actually pretty chill. Beckman asks why Shanks is smiling, and he says he's happy to see how respected Luffy is, but Yasop doesn't care. He asks for permission and says this can't go unpunished. Then he shoots Bartolomeo's ship, sinking it at Gartel Island. At Pirate Island Hachinosu, Blackbeard arrives complaining about the mess that happened in his absence. He grabs Pizarro by the beard and asks if he heard Vegapunk's message saying that the poneglyphs are no longer just known in the underworld. Now the four Yonko will compete for them, along with the world government and the Marines getting involved. Kobe was supposed to be their bargaining chip, but he escaped. Pizarro tries to defend himself, saying that besides Kobe, Moria was also freed. Burgess calls Teach to look outside, where several pirates are cheering, saying that the one who will claim the One Piece is Blackbeard, asking him to conquer the world, and he's clearly enjoying it. Then he asks Aokiji to repeat that he let Kobe escape, but captured Garp instead. Pizarro says Garp is more valuable than Kobe, but Teach tells him to shut up. Aokiji thought they had killed Garp, but he actually survived. Blackbeard says he did a good job, and Aokiji says it took all of them working together to defeat him. On top of that, they also have Pudding. Teach asks to contact Lafitte, who is at the Maritime Transport headquarters. Blackbeard asks what the Revolutionary Army is up to, and Lafitte says they're attacking everything. All the port gondolas are being destroyed, supply transports are completely shut down, and several food shipments from other countries have been blocked. He says that if a celestial dragon dies of hunger, it would be unprecedented, and honestly, he's not wrong about that. Katarina Devon and Van Ogre arrive on the island, and Caribou gets excited seeing Teach's base, but then he's shocked when he sees the island moving, and it gets worse when he sees it about to rise up. Pizarro asks if they really brought him, and Katarina says Teach ordered it, so they had no choice. Back with the Straw Hats, even after 2 days since leaving Egghead, they still hadn't reached Elbaf, and the reason is simple: everyone passed out drunk. When they woke up, the Sunny was gone. Jinbe says the last time he saw it, it was right next to them. Brogy panics, saying they can't return to Elbaf like this, and Robin suggests they might have been eaten by fish. Frankie tells her to stop jinxing it, because that's actually possible. Luffy, Zoro, Usopp, Sanji, Chopper, and Nami had completely disappeared. Then we see Usopp telling Nami to wake up. She opens her eyes already wearing different clothes, in a completely strange place. In the next episode, she'll explore it further, a place where everything has bizarre shapes and giant monsters attack. The title of the next episode is Run Nami, the Adventure in the Block Kingdom. If you watched until here and want more content like this, comment episode 1157 so I can bring the next one. Thanks.